If you're a content creator, a coach, or you run an online business of some kind, I'm going to highly advise you to watch this video until the end and you make your own determination on whether you can continue to use Stripe or you should use Stripe as your own payment processor. My name is Dustin Lash. I'm known for forging 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs, building, branding, and scaling online businesses. I've used Stripe for the past 8 years, running several different businesses and using that as my payment platform. As you can see, in the month of April, I did $200,000 in revenue between April and May. The beginning of May, I received a letter from Stripe saying they were closing my account for no reason. They had $30,000 held in my reserve and that it was going to be paid out to me with an unknown date. So as you can imagine, you can probably tell I was pretty frustrated. There was no one to talk to with support. All we could do was send emails back and forth. I just wanted to know when my money was going to be paid out and why my platforms were shut down. Now, as you can tell, we were doing business at a decent volume inside of the company. And this really tied our hands as business owners, not being able to accept payments, and everyone's card that was on file that was set up on a recurring subscription was going to be refunded their money. So at this point, we didn't really know what to do. We started to do some more research. The research that we found is that Stripe recently updated their privacy policy and guidelines, and we fell in those guidelines. Therefore, we were just being shut down. There was no way we could reopen the doors using Stripe as our payment platform. We quickly started looking for other merchants and we got set up with one. Now, as I started doing some more research on things, I wanted to know what the deal was with Stripe. So I went through and started to read all of the legal verbiage inside of their new policies. And I quickly found out why it was updated that way. So a little background on Stripe. Stripe is not a merchant. Stripe is an aggregator. The difference between the two is that an aggregator will typically just grant you permission to open an account and you can start processing payments very quickly. The difference with a merchant is that you have to go through underwriting. So being able to do that quickly with Stripe, they just let you in the door, you start processing payments. And then while you're doing this, they start underwriting you. So you could, have several clients in your door, or you could be making revenue in the business. And then all of a sudden they're going to let you know, hey, we're shutting the doors of this business because you don't qualify. And that is a very uncomfortable situation. So when it comes to Stripe, again, they are an aggregator. They're not a payment platform. What the difference between the two would be that one of the main benefits of an aggregator is that it will start accepting payments very quickly and easily inside the business. The aggregator does have limitations. They typically have lower transaction limits than a merchant, which can be a problem for the business that processes large volumes. That I started explaining a lot more to. And then as I started going through and reading all of the verbiage that's inside of here, a few things kind of popped up. So when we look under restricted businesses, there is a difference between restricted businesses and prohibited businesses. But when we look at the restricted business, the very first thing at the top of the list was one of their updates is content creation platforms. Now, this basically means platforms that are hosted or distribute third-party content enables content creators to receive content, tips, whatever it may be, in exchange for content or sell exclusive content or digital goods. So the coaching world or anything that sells something online that's not a tangible product, that is a service, that is considered a digital good. Therefore, that is now a restricted business inside Stripe. The reason why is because when we look at an aggregator versus a merchant account, when an aggregator lets you in the door and you start processing payments, someone will charge a dispute. If they charge a dispute or if they don't, they have 6 months to charge a dispute or a chargeback against that company. Now, let's say the company closes the doors on the business. Now the credit card company is responsible for paying that back. So in Stripe's case, they're the ones that would be responsible for paying the credit card company. So they are now saying anyone that is a content creator or someone selling digital goods is a restricted business that cannot do business with Stripe. So they've changed their policies and their guidelines on all of this stuff, and it has made it impossible for people to go through and read unless you actually read it. So if you've been processing payments with Stripe and you fall in that category of digital good, be prepared to start looking for another merchant because they're going to shut your account down without any notice. You're just going to get an email that says your account's now being closed, or you can no longer process payments, or they're going to freeze all of your funds, and whatever money that you do have, you're not going to be able to pay out. Typically, the window that I've seen is 120 days. So they're going to lock down your account. The money's going to be frozen for 120 days in the account before it can actually be paid out, if they even pay it out. And if any payments come through during that period of time, let's say you have clients or you have people coming in the door that are set up on a subscription or recurring basis, those payments are going to come in your Stripe account and then be directly refunded to that individual. So please make sure that you're checking all of that out. Now, what I've done is I went and got on with a great merchant account, and there is no limitations. It's a legit merchant account. That way I can process payments, and I like it way better than Stripe because there is no liability. Deposit has absolutely been awesome since I've been with them. And so here's the thing, that with Deposit, which is the name of this payment platform, it integrates with everything else, which is why I primarily wanted to use Stripe, so I could integrate all of the products with my Go High level, because it worked very seamlessly. And, Square is very similar to Stripe. So their policies and guidelines are going to be changing as well. I don't know if it's the credit card companies cracking down or what, but when it comes to using an actual merchant, there are tons of perks. So for example, with Stripe, I was paying about a 2.9 or a 3.2% for every transaction that was processed. With Deposit, it's like a 2.1%. So I'm already saving a ton of money there. I'm actually making more money. I'm not having to give it away. Here's the other cool thing with Deposit. When it comes to Deposit, you can integrate it with pretty much any platform. And on top of that, they have phone support 24/7, so I can actually talk to a human being and not be shoved back and forth to emails like it was in the old days, right? And the best part is that it won't cap you out. You can just tell them how much you're already processing, and they'll set you up for that amount. So for whatever reason, with Stripe, now they're shutting everything down when it comes to digital goods content creation. And then on top of that, 9 times out of 10, when you have an cash injection one month in your business, Stripe's going to start asking you for more and more documentation. So leading up to that moment, it was like every week I would get a notification from Stripe that I needed to send them 3 bank statements, update my LLC, send on my statement organization, send all of these papers in. And it was like every week it became monotonous that I was having to do those things. And then we got a really big cash injection and they just shut the doors. I didn't know if it was from the cash injection or if it was because the new policies had updated. So if you're stuck on Stripe or you're on Square and you're looking for a new merchant account, or you need a merchant account of some kind, which I highly recommend you do, what I'll do is in the description, I'm going to drop a link that will even save you more money, so that you can get signed up with Deposit and see if it works out for you. Like, again, definitely need to use a merchant account. Aggregators are slowly dying off, especially if you're doing anything in the online space, just because they consider it high risk. So if you have any questions about this, please just leave a comment down below and I'll definitely reach back out. But again, I'll drop the link in the description for you. Click the link, check it out. If it makes sense, perfect. If not, no hard feelings.